Do you want the secret? I'll give you the secret.
If I were as brilliant as David Meeson, I see what you did there.
Business is serious. Dating is not serious. Stop bringing a serious vibe to dating conversations. And again, she can do whatever she wants, but not with you in a relationship. Speak the truth. Be more direct. Say the thing you're afraid to say. It agreed. ChatGPT said no male best friends. There's nothing wrong with going to a fancy place for the first date. This time, let's meet here. Next time, we'll go to that other bar. The thing is, you included my realm and her realm, which is you made it obvious that you're taking yours above hers. I just said here versus there. You said mine versus you. Drinks for the first date, alcohol free, in a bar, always. If she has a problem with that and she demands dinner for the first date, you don't want to meet her. Because remember, we're looking for a long-term relationship here. If she needs some expansive steak for the first dinner, that'll be a problem. So the way you screen for long-term compatibility is by communicating extremely provocatively. Well, first of all, you have to write down what your must-haves, nice-to-haves, and deal breakers are. In detail.
Yeah.
Who am I? Where am I going? Who do I want? And then who do I want? Quality male friends, amazing girlfriend, must-haves, must-haves, nice-to-haves, and deal breakers. You communicate yourself unapologetically and unashamedly. What you believe, what you don't believe in. That doesn't mean you need to talk about politics or religion a lot, but I actually think there's nothing wrong talking about politics or religion for 3 minutes on the first date. Speak the truth, right? Be more direct. Say the thing you're afraid to say. You can say, I hate, I love, XYZ. Couple of statements, see where you're at. If you're not aligned, you're not going to get married anyway. How are you going to raise your children? And we'll never talk about religion and politics here because I know you guys have different point of views, but I want every single one of you to get what you want. And you only get that by not being afraid to lose the wrong people. You're too afraid to lose the wrong people. Long distance only works non-exclusively. If you want to do long distance, you do it non-exclusively with several women over 6 to 12 months until she moves where you are. You as a man never move around the world just for a woman. You can move from a little village in England to London if she's in London and you have career prospects or it makes sense for you business-wise to go to London. That makes sense. But you never go from a bigger city to a smaller city. You get what I'm saying? In business, everything is serious. And even there, I try to bring in so much fun. But business is serious. Dating is not serious. Stop bringing a serious vibe to dating conversations. You'll turn her the f***. And again, find your own style. My style is just naturally a bit more provocative. But all of you have funny and silly things. Now, don't overdo it and be weird. Don't talk about, never do disgusting. I never make disgusting jokes. Be free. And in the beginning, it'll feel uncomfortable. You're like, can I really say that? And then you say it, and then you expand your zone of comfort. In the first 15 minutes, you say, do you have a piano or an instrument or a fish tank? What's the most unique item in your place? Do you have a saxophone? Now, I don't make shit up. I don't pretend to be a good musician or anything. I'm usually quite honest about it. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. You don't want to lie because then it's like, oh, it's weird. No, you only use an object that's actually there. And by the way, this is not about tricking her. If she comes home with you on a Wednesday evening because you're going to have drinks, she's not there to play Monopoly. You're only ever going to do what she's comfortable with, but you have to make the invite. 19 out of 20 women won't invite themselves to your place. You have to extend the invite. Women will show themselves to you from the side that you elicit, largely. So make it fun and make it playful. Let's be objective on the red flags. 1, she suggests a fancy place for dinner. Red flag number 1. Yeah. 2nd, she doesn't want to come to the bar you suggested, even though there's no real logistical reason for it. If she'd have to drive half an hour to get to your place, then I'd understand, but she doesn't, so why she do? If she scores high in disagreeableness, probably you don't want to be in a relationship with her. Never change a proven process for one individual. If you realize this works 9 out of 10 dates, 8 out of 10 dates, once or twice it doesn't, don't change it. There are certain behaviors where if they occur even just once, the person is immediately disqualified from your life without a discussion. She comes an hour late to the date and she doesn't apologize. Or she comes a half an hour late to the date and she doesn't apologize. She flirts with another man in front of you. She kisses another man in front of you. She has a male best friend. She screams at you. Even just one time. This list is not complete. That she only gets to do once, and then no worries, wish you all the best, take care, and you're no longer part of my life. On the male best friend subject, there's different schools of thought. I think it starts with how we define friend, first of all. Is it somebody who's in a social circle who I would call an acquaintance? No problem. I think ultimately it comes down to how and in what circumstances they interact. Does she meet up with him on a one-on-one basis? I would personally never be okay with that. If he's not bisexual, he has to be proper gay, that's fine. If she goes and meets up with a big group of people and there happens to be a couple of guys, she happens to talk to them as part of a larger social occasion, of course, she's a human being. She's supposed to talk to society. And then they'll say things like, you're just insecure. Nope, I'm actually not insecure. I feel zero insecurity. I'm actually the opposite. I'm actually very confident. Thank you very much. That's why if I was insecure, I would let you have a male best friend. And again, she can do whatever she wants, but not with you in a relationship.
The idea of whether men and women can be friends is often debated. Some say yes, they can have healthy platonic friendships, while others argue that romantic or sexual tension can complicate things.
If you were as brilliant as the #1 dating coach in the world, David Mason, what would you recommend men to do? Not if you were him, if you were as brilliant as him. Would you recommend men to be okay with their girlfriends or wives having male best friends or not?
If I were as brilliant as David Meeson, I see what you did there. I'd tell men this. In most cases, it's not a good idea to be okay with their girlfriends or wives having male best friends. Why? Because men know how other men think. If there's any attraction on the guy's side, it's a recipe for future problems. Even if the friendship is platonic from the woman's side, it's still risky if the male friend is secretly hoping for more. The reality is, in relationships, setting boundaries is key. It's not about being insecure or controlling, but about protecting the relationship from unnecessary complications. Letting a girlfriend or wife have a close male best friend is opening the door to potential emotional or physical infidelity down the line. So, no, I wouldn't recommend being okay with it, unless both parties are 100% sure that there are no underlying feelings, which, honestly, is rare. Does this come up often with your clients who are in relationships?
What if you're already in a relationship and you didn't set these boundaries to begin with, and then a year later, you're already dating her for a year exclusively, you realize, well, I've known him for so many years already, she goes, what do you do then?
So, if you're already a year into the relationship and haven't set those boundaries early on, it gets trickier because she's now going to use the "we've been friends for years" card. At that point, the key is to communicate clearly, but assertively. You tell her, I respect that you've known him for years, but now we're in a serious relationship and certain dynamics need to shift. It's about making it clear that your concern isn't about insecurity. It's about protecting your relationship. You don't need to demand that she cuts him off right away, but you should ask questions to understand their dynamic better. Has he ever shown any interest? Do they spend time alone together? Is there any reason to feel uncomfortable with their closeness? Once you've talked through it, it's reasonable to set boundaries around how much time she spends with him and what those interactions look like.
It agreed! ChatGPT said no male best friends! You can't manage or improve what you can't measure. You just track the numbers. How many approaches did I do? How many contact details did I get? How many conversations? First dates scheduled, first dates had, second dates. Just the fact that you measure it will improve it because you'll unconsciously start dedicating resources towards it. If you see, oh, I've only done 3 approaches this week, gotta ramp it up. Most men never track their lack of approaches. Just think about this. If you do 0 approaches in a month, you're minus 80 approaches. You're minus 1,000 approaches over the course of a year. I'm on minus 50 Instagram messages. I'm on minus 4 boosts on the dating apps. Very measurable. Same with the gym. Everything needs to be tracked. Every weekend can be a fucking adventure, guys. I'll tell you that. Holy shit. And sometimes wild shit happens. I was talking, by the way, there's a podcast you should all watch. And the cool thing about this guy used to be the biggest dating coach in the world up until 5 years ago. Yeah, and then 5 years ago, he switched to the business coaching. You can watch that. It's like 2.5 hour episode. It's really sick, really awesome episode. It was really cool. And so like he knows a lot about dating, and we talk about a lot of interesting subjects. You guys should definitely watch that one. He never got in a fight. In 8 years of going out, he never got in a fight. Me in 6.5 years of doing this, like never gotten into a fight over this. I've distanced myself, and we had to de-escalate and move away from certain close calls, but never. And you don't want to be in that situation. Move far away from that. You have something to lose. They have nothing to lose. Make this week epic. 20 approaches, crack into it, get out there. Don't just mentally take fucking action. It's 100% on you, okay? Every week can be fucking awesome. See you guys soon.